Bowie releases Ziggy Stardust in 1972. Bowie says, "In 5 years, my biggest star will be born." Then 5 years later, in 1970, Kanye is born. Bowie releases his last album only days before his death. It is named Black Star, it being named this because Kanye actually is his Black Star. After Bowie's death, Kanye was one of the first to tweet about him on Twitter, which was the 11th of January in 2016 at 7:27 a.m. And I quote, "David Bowie was one of my most important inspirations. So fearless, so creative. He gave us magic for a lifetime." I know you heard this story, but what they have not told you. One thing we could all say about this post is, at the very least, the timing is very intentional. At least the minute he released it, because throughout his career before this point, Kanye talked about numbers and its significance, maybe not to the degree that he started spiraling into after his wives' robbery on tour. This is very telling, given that the last song Kanye was performing when he got the call was Heartless. And to Kanye, it may have really messed with his psyche. Questioning his existence, possibly maybe even looking into things he probably should have not looked into. One of those things maybe being angel numbers in the New Age before he really started to devote and find God in the Jesus is King era. Just days after Bowie's death, on stage, Kanye repeats the phrase, "I am a black star," and to top it all off, look at what it says on the Ziggy Stardust album cover. People think Ziggy Stardust is Kanye West, but no, I don't believe in that notion necessarily. It is similar to how stars die and become something new with the stardust. But the aspect I'm referring to is the notion that one is of the same mantle or same message. A line of messengers that are guided to accomplish the same spiritual goals. Not necessarily biblical, just in the aspect that they are here to fulfill something beyond normal, which you could consider supernatural because it has not been accomplished by people in your own family or just generations in general. On his Bully album, Kanye West mentions how he is more Genghis Khan than Akon, so the Khan is the same, but in which way he cons is actually different. Because on one hand, yes, Akon could sleep with a lot of women, but can he rule a whole nation and breed generations of nations? That is the context in which you are getting with Kanye and his lyrics, when considering that both figures, looking back in hindsight, may have just been cons that never offered anything in life, but were put in positions of power to fulfill their separate goals. And with Kanye reestablishing the idea that he is a black star, he is making the full 360 realization and moment to add the last piece to his black star prophecy. Many more key points to keep in mind are that Ziggy Stardust is the creation of a larger-than-life persona. Bowie created Ziggy as an alter ego, an alien rock star who becomes a messianic celebrity and eventually gets consumed by fame and ego. That makes the comparison to Kanye interesting because Ye has also repeatedly reinvented his public identity through music, fashion, performance, and larger-than-life self-mythology. Black Star as succession and transformation, Bowie's Black Star is often interpreted as a final transformation of his artistic identity. Fans connect the idea of a black star taking the place of a departing star to Kanye's own self-image and the way he became one of the most culturally influential artists of his generation. That connection is thematic rather than literal. The most fascinating takeaway from this theory is not that Kanye is literally Ziggy Stardust reincarnated. It is that Kanye represents the next evolution of the rock star as a character concept. Bowie created Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy became a myth. Kanye turned the artist himself into a constantly evolving myth. So the Black Star theory works best as a discussion about artistic succession, ego, identity, transformation, and the way one generation of boundary-breaking artists can symbolically echo another.